My girlfriend kept telling me I needed to be more understanding, understanding of her struggles, understanding of her friends, understanding of her family, understanding of every bad decision anyone around her made. The problem was that nobody expected her to understand me. I'm 28. My girlfriend Alyssa is 26. We had been together for almost 4 years. For most of that time, I was the responsible one. I paid bills on time. I worked overtime when money got tight. I planned things. I fixed things. I handled emergencies. Whenever something went wrong, the answer was usually me. Alyssa always had an explanation for why she couldn't do the same. Her childhood, her anxiety, her stressful job, her difficult family. There was always a reason, and every reason came with the same expectation. I was supposed to understand. At first I did, because people go through things. Nobody is perfect. But after 4 years, I started noticing something. Understanding only moved in one direction, toward her, never toward me. The turning point started with her younger brother. He was 23, no job, no plans, constantly borrowing money, constantly creating problems. Every few months he needed rescuing, and somehow we were always the rescue team, mostly me. One weekend he called at midnight. His car had been impounded. Again, he needed $800. Again, I said no. Alyssa got angry immediately. She said, "He's family." I said, "He's an adult." She said, "You don't understand what he's been through." I said, "At what point does he become responsible for what he keeps doing?" That argument lasted for days, not because of the money, because I was apparently being insensitive. That word followed me everywhere. Insensitive. Whenever I wanted boundaries, insensitive. Whenever I said no, insensitive. Whenever I expected accountability, insensitive. Then something happened that changed everything. Alyssa went on a weekend trip with friends. Nothing unusual. I trusted her completely. I barely even thought about it. Then one of her friends accidentally sent me a photo. The picture itself wasn't terrible, but it raised questions. Questions that got worse when I started asking them. Alyssa became defensive immediately, then angry. Then somehow I became the problem. She said, "You should trust me." I said, "I did. That's why I'm asking instead of assuming." She said, "You're acting controlling." I said, "I'm asking one question." She still wouldn't answer it. 3 days later, I got the truth from someone else. Not from her. From one of her friends. Apparently, Alyssa had spent most of the trip hanging around with another guy. A guy she had conveniently forgotten to mention. Nothing physical happened. At least that's what everyone claimed. But that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was this. She expected unlimited trust from me, but she couldn't give me basic honesty. When I confronted her, she immediately switched tactics. She said, "You don't understand how complicated this is." There it was again. Understanding. Always understanding. Never accountability. I finally asked her, "Why am I expected to understand every mistake everyone makes, but nobody is expected to understand mine?" She said, "That's not fair." I said, "No. What's not fair is that your feelings excuse your behavior, but my feelings become a problem." She cried. Her friends got involved. Her mother got involved. Apparently, everyone had opinions. Most of them agreed I was being too harsh. One of her friends actually told me, "People deserve grace." I said, "So why didn't I get any?" Nobody answered that, because they couldn't. The final argument happened 2 weeks later. Alyssa told me she felt unsupported. That honestly shocked me. Unsupported. After years of carrying financial stress, family drama, emergencies, and consequences that weren't mine, unsupported. I looked at her and said, "Can you name one time you were expected to carry me the way I've carried you?" She sat there silently for almost 30 seconds. Then she started crying again. And that's when I knew, not because she cried, because she couldn't answer. The imbalance had become impossible to ignore. I wasn't her partner. I was her safety net. And safety nets are only appreciated when people think they might lose them. So I ended it, calmly. No screaming, no revenge, no dramatic speech, just a simple decision. The funny part is that people still tell me I should have been more understanding. Maybe they're right. Maybe I could have understood her even more. But after 4 years, I finally asked myself a different question. Who was supposed to understand me? I got tired of being everyone's solution while nobody cared about my problems. Understanding without accountability is just another way people avoid changing.